Procrastination doesn't always have to be the demon that it's made out to be. Join me today for a day in the life of somebody who's doing the work and also procrastinating and kind of finding a balance between the two. I'm Jen and welcome to Girl and Duck. Hello. Do you think I spend a lot of time in the car? Sometimes it feels like it. It's just a good place to film. It is about 9:15 on Thursday morning as I'm recording this, and I've had one of those weeks where I've been at home all the time. So Sunday was an immersion day with our online Kidlit group, so that was a fairly intense day, so I didn't go out anywhere on Sunday. And then Monday I rolled straight into manuscript assessments, and then Tuesday I made a video, so that was fun. I did get out of the house a bit that day. And then yesterday was another day within our online group where we had hosted another guest, and so that was really fantastic, but it sort of chopped up the day and I didn't get out at all. So today, rather than work from home, I'm heading into Castlemaine to one of my favourite cafes. I've got my laptop and I'm going to sit there and just drink coffee and work on another manuscript assessment that's calling me. So that's what I'm doing today. So I'm taking you along with me as well. Okay. Okay, so that was fun, and it was a lovely manuscript to work on, so I'll take it home and do a little bit more on it, but that was very easy, clean story. Sometimes my job is a bit too easy, I think. And I've been around and bought some cat food. Now I have to whiz back to Maldon and I have to go to the Wool's shop and just get an online order, pull an online order together. The shop's not open this week because the boss is in Vietnam having a holiday and a shopping trip. So, but I'll still do that online thing, and then I'll go home and finish up, write my editor's report. I just flicked on a few lights. It seems funny being in the shop on a weekday and it's not open. It's a bit sad. Anyway, and then I saw something out of the corner of my eye and I thought there was someone in here and I got really spooked. Okay, let's, I think the wool that the person online wants is this one, which is the tweed, was it? This one. I think it was or maybe, no, I think it's the Cal, this one, yeah. I think it was a couple of these, so I'll have to look around, and the Irish tweed, I'll have to look around and see if I can find the colours and put that aside for her. I fancy this myself. I'd really like to do something in that Loch Lomond wool. Or even this darker colour here. That's nice too. All right, I must put this order together. And then, hello. And then I can nick home and get back into this editor's report that I need to write. No, I got that wrong. It was I had to check my messages on Instagram. I don't have Instagram on my phone, so I had to open up the computer. So it was this one, the heron worsted, that the lady wants. So she wants 2 lichen or lichen, a couple of natural, and a couple of coral. So that will be easy. I think this might be, is this lichen? Yeah, so 2 of those. Okay, all right, I'll put this all together. 2 of those, 2 coral and 2 natural. How would you look at that? 11:11. I've been thinking about, ironically, I've been thinking about procrastination. And yesterday in our group we had this really amazing presenter. I'll put a link to her, Bridget. I'll put a link to her down below. And she's a printmaker and indie publisher, self-published children's author, but also she's got a whole range of wooden toys and cards and beautiful, beautiful prints. And she's really successful and really prolific, and it was just so interesting to talk to her in the group. So instead of her doing a formal presentation, she just came in and did a Q&A, and we just talked for an hour with the community. And there were so many questions, and I was really surprised because I didn't realize that so many people in the group were not only interested in indie publishing, but they also understood, you know, how the machinations of it, and they were able to ask really informed questions. And yeah, so that was a surprise in itself to me. But one of the things that we talked about was planning your workflow or not. And one of the things that I was really delighted to discover was that Bridget, she said herself that she just kind of bumbles her way through. And I wrote a blog post, so I remember I wrote a blog post about this very thing quite a few years ago now, and I think the blog post was called Bumbling Your Way to Success or something like that. It's on the Girl and Duck website. But yeah, because I struggle with trying to come up with formulas to share with people, formulas for success or formulas for outcomes, or telling people that I take these particular steps with regularity and that's how I get things done and stuff like that. And it's just kind of not true. You know, there are times when I've had strict deadlines imposed upon me from publishers, and at that time it's very important to at least have, in terms of being a writer, to have a word count that you want to reach every day, 5 days a week, and you to stick to that. But either side of that, everything else to me is just kind of left to my energy and my intuition and the other things that are going on in my life. And so for me, it's really important to give myself enough leeway to be able to flow with my life rather than dictate how it should go and how it should move. Now, I know that doesn't suit everybody, and for a lot of people that would feel really scary. A lot of people really like the structure of set out goals and set out things that they have to achieve and fairly strict to-do lists. And I know that some people are really into habit trackers and all things like that, and no shade on anyone who's into that. And I think that's the key, is to find what works for you, and to not assume that because somebody somewhere, on the internet says this is the way you should do it, that you should do it that way. And I pretty much figure that everyone that watches this channel is wise enough to know that anyway. But yeah, it is, and I do think it's part of getting older too, is that you start to realize that no matter how many structures you try to put on yourself, there will be a natural rhythm to your life, to your productivity, to your creativity, and there'll be some kind of natural rhythm to it, and eventually it kind of starts to break through when we stop trying to hold on so tight and try to control it with such vigor. So that was what was really interesting about talking to Bridget yesterday and having a laugh and saying, and she was talking about procrastination and saying how procrastination for her can be really, really productive. And I really get that. I really get that, because sometimes procrastination is, I think it's almost more like a soul calling. It's like your soul just gets weary of being told what to do and told that this is how today is going to pan out, and these are the things that we're going to achieve today, and these are all the external bells and whistles. Where actually, the soul says, you know what, I really feel like making a video today. I feel like there's somebody out there that could benefit from what I've got to say today. How about we put aside what we were going to do and just switch on the camera and have a chat? And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm hoping that this will land with somebody. And it's like a bonus video, because there is another video scheduled for tomorrow, a proper video. But this one is more just let's pick up the camera and have a chat, especially while, yesterday's presentation is so fresh in my mind, and I feel so inspired. The other thing that, I loved about talking to Bridget was her saying how she has had that experience of a traditional publisher who picked up one of her books, went with one of her books, and she also is indie, and now that she's had both experiences, she knows how much she prefers indie, and that's partly because she likes to get things done. Now, that would resonate with a lot of you out there, I'm sure. The traditional publishing model can be very, very frustrating because it's incredibly slow and convoluted. Whereas to go the indie path, you can just make decisions and move on them and get them going yourself. That's why I love working for myself. That's why I love having an online business, because I can come up with something and implement it basically straight away. I don't have to wait for anybody to tick anything off or to approve anything or to look over anything or to want to change everything. I can just get cracking and produce and create what I want. And so that gives me a lot of freedom, and in a way that sort of balances up the frustrations of working in a traditional publishing model with my writing. So there's a nice balance there, and I think that's also part of it. The older you get, the more life experience you have,
the more you're able to broaden your choices of how you want to do things, and from experience, from first-hand experience. But you have to experience things before you can make an informed choice. So that takes time. On the other hand, working with traditional publishers is an incredible privilege and bonus. The bonus of it is that you get people who are at the top of their game, the best in the business, looking at your work and helping you to bring it to its absolute finest. They're funded, they have lots of money in the coffers, so they can hire the best designers and the best illustrators, and they can consult with their marketing people and work hard towards the best outcome, which doesn't always work, of course. Everyone wants the best outcome for a book, but it's still in the laps of the gods at the end of the day. But at least when you work with a traditional publisher that you've given the text your best shot. And again, this isn't to say that indie authors can't access professional and really high level assistance, because they can. There's plenty of freelance editors, freelance designers, and illustrators who are happy to work with indie authors as well. So again, it's all about our experience, and it's all about the risks that we're willing to take and the experiments that we're willing to put into place. So this now, is an example of me procrastinating, but procrastinating in a way that I feel is productive, because I'm spending some time talking to you, and I'm also spending some time reflecting on the presentation yesterday, and reflecting on all that I learned and all that I gleaned from talking to Bridget. And that also comes back to how important community is and how beneficial it is. And that was another thing that she mentioned. She said how much help she had, just over the years, how it looks like we look at people, who are successful, and we think, wow, look what she's done. But she was very quick to explain that she'd had a lot of help and a lot of lifting up from others and guidance. And you can only get that through reaching out. You can only get that through community. So that's another reason why I'm really passionate about building creative communities, and particularly communities for women, where women can feel safe and held, and that they can speak their truth, and enjoy and share their journeys and their ups and downs in a space that's really well curated and really well held. So that's been one of my passions for quite a while now, for over a decade, and that continues to grow and mutate in different ways. So all in all, I'm just feeling it's an absolutely gorgeous day. Like, it's just it's insanely beautiful day. So it's very hard, I find, sometimes to do really close work on a day like today. So it's just really nice to be a bit more free with my time, to hop in here and talk to you, and just to put this out in the world. And then as the day goes by and, quietens down, and I get all this stuff out of my system, and then I know from experience that I'll be in a much better place to focus really, really tightly on some of the close work that I have to do. I'm looking down, I don't know if my computer's actually in shot, but I'm sitting in front of the big one, and the little one's here too. So sometimes just screen work can be quite tiresome when the weather's beautiful, the sun's shining, there's all this the spring wind, and so there's all this sort of, it'd be a nightmare for anyone with hay fever, but there's all these beautiful seeds and leaves blowing everywhere. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, so that's just what I wanted to pop in and say hello. If you like this channel, please subscribe and leave a like, because that really helps us to grow. But otherwise, I'm going to say goodbye now, and you will see me tomorrow, because tomorrow is Friday, and so there is a video scheduled for tomorrow morning about 6 o'clock Australian time. Yeah, all right, I'll see you again soon. Bye. Would you care to say cheerio, Harry? Say cheerio to the people.